Okay. After my 5th quarter life crisis of the year, I have decided it's time for me to get into manga. Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Your bald-headed senpai right here. I'm not as bald as I could be, as I normally am, but that's for another day. Today we're here to talk about me and getting into manga. So really short, kind of like infomercial about my life. I've probably been into anime since I was like in middle school. Nah, elementary school for sure. So been into anime since I was in elementary school, and somehow it just totally missed me, which is weird. I had friends who were into anime and also into manga, and I kind of read a little bit of, you know, what they were reading. Around that time I was probably in middle school, so the only thing that they were reading was like yaoi, which was great. You know, I was a horny teenager, fictional guys, it worked. But yeah, I never really like super got into it. Like I never like bought manga. In the midst of, you know, everything that's been going on and having more time to indulge in anime and all that kind of stuff, just kind of accidentally stumbled across MangaTube, and I was like, so what you're saying is that I'm missing like a whole demographic of content to consume, and I just had to try it. So yeah. Essentially, I guess that all means that this is Senpai's first manga haul, yay! So I do have to say that because I wasn't sure if I was gonna like super be genuinely interested in manga, like I wasn't sure if it was just like another hyperfixation that I was jumping into, I did start off small and I got a couple of used ones just to check and see if it was gonna be something that I was like gonna continue and stuff like that. I tried to organize all of the manga that I've bought in February into some type of like order, as far as like, I really love this was okay, but I need to feel it out some more, and honey, I don't know what this is, but I don't like it, get it away from me. But even within those categories, some stuff is kind of like broken down even further, and I thought about doing a reading log, but then I was like, I'm just gonna do it on one, and next month we'll separate it, so just bear with me. But yeah, so we'll start off with the stuff that I ended up buying first, which was actually all of the used stuff that, again, I was just buying to kind of test the waters. So without further ado, here we go. So the first stuff that I got was Ajin. Love the series, so good. Had no idea that like the manga kept going. They just had at my local bookstore issues. These aren't American comics. Volumes 6 through 8, so I just picked those up. Eventually, I'm gonna go ahead and, you know, get 1 through 5 and then continue on. I think it's going up to like 15 or 16 right about now. And yeah, Ajin. The next one is The God's Lie by Kaori Ozaki. So I'm gonna be perfectly honest with y'all. I bought it solely for the cover. Like, it's pretty, I like the colors, I like what she's wearing, these flowers, like amazing. But I know that I heard a couple of manga tubers talking specifically about something else that this mangaka had written. So I was like, okay, at least I know that they've written something else that was really well received, that was really good. So I'll go ahead and give this a shot. Next, I picked up Children of the Whales. Yes, of the whales, okay? That is important. Just another one where the cover just kind of grabbed me. Haven't gotten around to reading it yet, but I will eventually. Until then, it just sits on my shelf and the cover does a lot for me. Then we had Satan's Secretary. Okay, this one was so good. It was so funny. Essentially, like, Satan has woken up from his deep slumber and is ready to start like eradicating the human race, but he needs a little bit of help, so he basically like kidnaps / hires this human to be like his secretary and to kind of whip up all the demons into shape so that they can take over the world. And it's just absolutely funny. To my utter horror though, I think this is like the only issue, because it came out in like 2018, I think, and there's been nothing since. So I'm really sad about this, but it was still great and I'm happy that I read it. Next we have Getter Robo Devolution, however you want to say it. This was pretty good. Mecha aliens, basically our young protagonist is like having like, you know, regular day at school, and then bam, an alien just out of nowhere shows up, wrecking stuff, messing up the city, destroying highways, all that great stuff. And then we just have this random crazy old man doctor professor who's like, hey, if you want to save this city, you just got to get into this giant robot. And a boy is like, okay, bet. And it just goes from there. So this was pretty good. I'm probably definitely going to continue reading it. All right, next we had Merman in the Bathtub. And honestly, the title is pretty self-explanatory. He ends up finding this merman man in like a dirty lake and basically like brings him home, lets him live in his bathtub, and it's cool. Shenanigans, you know, happen. So this was a really kind of like cute, funny one, so I kind of enjoyed that one. So you're probably gonna keep reading it. Next we had Magical Girl Spec Ops Asuka. I absolutely love Magical Girls because I grew up on Sailor Moon, so pretty much anything Magical Girl-esque, I'm gonna watch it, in this case read it. It's like Magical Girls with like a military aspect to it, and they're not necessarily like cute and funny like they are in Sailor Moon, but they're not also like cute and sad and tragic like how they are in Madoka. But they're like cute and like super badass, basically a kill squad, and this was a good read. It was fun. Gonna continue. And yeah, so that's it for all of my used manga that I bought. Read about half of the ones that I could. Obviously, I'm not gonna start reading Ajin at volume 6. But it was definitely, again, enough to let me know that I'm like definitely interested in like reading manga, like more so. So after that, I went ahead and joined Right Stuff Anime, got my little membership card, and bought a whole batch of stuff. Yeah, so we're gonna start off with the stuff that like I really loved. Fire Flame. As soon as the next volume drops, like I'm gonna go out and cop it. Basically, I loved it. Yeah, so we can start off with To Your Eternity volumes 1, 2, 3, and 4. This was really great. It is by Yoshitoki Oima. I'm pretty sure I'm butchering that. I apologize for any names that I'm gonna butcher in this video and the ones following. It's by the mangaka that did A Silent Voice, which I have not watched, which I have not read, but I did listen to the soundtrack and I absolutely loved it. But yeah, this is really great. I really don't know how to describe it except that there's like this creature entity that like comes into being and is able to kind of like turn into other objects, people, organisms basically. It's really cool and I loved it. And apparently there is going to be an anime adaptation in April of this year. I had known that when I had picked it up. So this April, To Your Eternity comes. Amazing. So that was good. Next we have Living Room, Matsunaga-san, volumes 1 through 5. The spines are so satisfying. Yeah, so this was really great, and let me tell you, I kind of read the description and just completely lacking any type of like reading comprehension skills. Totally missed out on the fact that this is like a 10-year age gap slice of life shoujo, I guess. Let me tell y'all. So I picked it up, and essentially Miko, who is the girl on the front, is going to be living in her uncle's boarding house, and this guy on the front, Matsunaga, he is a tenant there. And so obviously, I mean, just look at the cover. In the description, it's like, yeah, high schooler Miko ends up moving, likes, you know, her roommate tenant person in the boarding house who is a graphic designer. So I was just like, okay, well, you know, she's probably like in her last year of high school, probably, you know, like 18 or something, which I don't know why I thought that in the first place, because I graduated high school when I was 16. So it's really not like even being in your last year of high school is any indication of like your age. And so then it's like, oh, he's a graphic designer. So I was like, okay, like maybe he's like in his beginning, like, you know, college career as a graphic designer. And I was like, okay, so I'm reading it. It's really cute. It's really good. The art style is just beautiful. But yeah, she's like, it's just so cute. Like, I don't know, it's like really wispy or something. Like, I don't know how wispy describes an art style, but it absolutely does. Just look at it. So I was like, okay, I read the first one. It was great. And then I go and I read the next one, and it has like a little bio for all the characters. Bruh, why does it say that she's 17 and he's 27? That being said, it is a great series. I don't know how to describe it because it's not like weird or anything. Like he's not like reciprocating. It's also, I think, really more so about her kind of gaining her own independence because she's living away from her parents for the first time. So she's like doing her own laundry, cooking her own food, getting a job for the first time, managing like issues at school and talking to her friends. I wish I had been 17 and had half as much of my life as put together as Miko is trying. What's next? This one. Days of Love at the Seagull Villa. Honey, this one was so great. So basically, this is, I think they say josei because they're not in high school, which is shoujo, something like that. So basically, the brown-haired woman, Miyuki, she like wants to run away to the countryside because she's having some issues in life, like, but she goes and she lives at this villa and she meets Rin, who's the owner and proprietor of the villa there, and I mean, you already know what it is. Okay. I don't know, man, like middle-aged lesbians in love by the seaside. I'm a simple person and this meets my simple needs, and that's all I gotta say about it. Listen, you already know what it is, fam. So I was listening to a lot of manga tubers give recommendations and stuff. So everybody has been talking about Spy X Family. I like calling it Spy Family because I feel like it's like Hunter x Hunter, the X is silent. We don't acknowledge it. So I went in there thinking it was gonna be more so like thriller-esque, I don't know, some type of like Mission Impossible stuff. I'm not saying that it's not like that. I'm just saying that there's a whole level of humor and comedy that I didn't really hear anybody else talking about. So I'm gonna tell you, it's hilarious. I mean, like within like the first 10 pages, I was just rolling on the floor. Like, it's so funny. The telepathic daughter, Anya, she's an absolute mood. That's how I feel on like a daily basis. So funny. Tear-jerking funny. So yeah, Spy Family. Next, we had Star Wars Rebels, Volume 1. Listen, can I just rant to y'all about Star Wars for like a minute? I'm gonna do it anyway. So, Star Wars Rebels is a really great animated Star Wars show. It follows the animated Clone Wars series. I'm trying so hard not to spoil anything, but it's so hard because I love it so much and like I just want to tell you guys. But anyway, so animated Clone Wars series, and then you have Star Wars Rebels, and I feel like it didn't get a lot of like notice because it's animated. I mean, obviously it's a cartoon, but I think people thought it was like really a cartoon where there was just going to be like no type of like value to it or something like that. But honestly, it is so good. If the Clone Wars series is about a found family kind of like falling apart, Star Wars Rebels is about a found family coming together. The animation style is really, I don't know, it's weird and it took a second for me to get into, but the series is absolutely like GOAT tier and you should absolutely watch it. I was really worried that the manga would basically kind of follow like the exact path of the cartoon and that it would be kind of like a super generic retelling. It ain't. It's not. I don't know, like somehow they managed to capture like all of the characters like perfectly, but also making them different. Our main character, Ezra Bridger, he starts off and he's kind of like the street rat and he's basically kind of like just trying to fend for himself out there, and then he ends up meeting the Ghost Crew, who are these people who have basically been running around trying to help, you know, people throughout the Outer Rim, and basically just want to like stick it to the Empire, which I'm all about. Stick it to the man, you know what I'm saying? Of course, Ezra finds out that he's got like Jedi powers and stuff like that, so of course he finds somebody to train him. You know what Star Wars is if you know what Star Wars is, okay? Like, they're not really reinventing the wheel here, but it's still so good. Look at my son, look at Ezra Bridger. I love him so much. I can't wait for the rest of it to come out. Look at freaking Kanan. What the fuck? Like, what is this? Honestly, the art style is just so great, and I just think it adds like a whole new like layer to the characters and to the story. And then at the end of it, you get to see like some other people who you probably know. I'm not gonna tell you who it is because, you know, I ain't trying to spoil it for you, but you should absolutely check this out if you like Star Wars in any way, shape, or form. And if you haven't seen any of the animated Star Wars stuff, you should absolutely watch it. It's all good. I'm probably gonna make a video about it at some point. Thank you for my Star Wars TED Talk. back to the manga. So the last thing that I read slash hauled had to be like the most recommended thing that I saw like across the MangaTube community, just like in general. So I absolutely had to pick it up. And let me tell you, at first, like when people were mentioning it, I was like, so the title is really, you know, kind of like niche specific. How is that gonna work? So without further ado, Sweat and Soap volumes 1 through 5. Honey, let me tell you, everybody that recommended this series, y'all were right. Okay, it's so good, it's so amazing. It's a little spicy, you know what I'm saying? Like habanero sauce spicy. Like, I'm getting away from my point. The point is that it was really good and I absolutely loved it. The premise was just so, like I said, specific. She sweats a lot and he just loves the way her sweat smells. And I was just like, I mean, I guess. I absolutely love Asako. I feel like you're able to really appreciate the small changes and the little growth that Asako has in a big way. I mean, obviously, because she was like sweating profusely as a kid, like, you know, she got bullied, right? Her kind of like coming to terms with, you know, the stuff that's happened and really like growing into herself and really becoming comfortable with herself. And so apart from like, you know, the little sexy times that they be showing, you know, little faded black scenes, I really love her continued growth because it is so small, like incremental growth, and it just really kind of like adds up, I think, over time. Basically what I'm saying is that I would die for Asako. I mean, look at her. Isn't she adorable? Anyway, Sweat and Soap, absolutely amazing. Thank you for recommending it, pretty much everybody in the MangaTube community. Y'all the real ones. All right, so that was it for my super GOAT tier manga that I read. Yeah, so now we're on to the second stack of stuff that I hauled slash read, and this was stuff that I enjoyed and I want to keep continuing to read. It just didn't necessarily grab me like instantly as that other group did. So first we have A Man and His Cat. And honestly, if you're looking for something that's like really wholesome, really chill, really wholesome and chill, check this one out. Basically, this ugly cat, Fukumaru, has been sitting at this pet store for like a year or whatever, and people don't want him because he's like ugly. I think he's really cute, but you know, that's just me. He gets bought by this silver fox man, but it's basically just this lonely old dude and this lonely cat just really kind of like becoming like a family together. I don't know, man, it was great. I loved it. The artwork's really cute. Wholesome content alert. And there's something that's really interesting in it, but basically you get like the cat's like internal like monologue, soliloquy kind of going on, and he always refers to like any word that starts with an M. He adds like a meow to it, so it's like right there, and he's like, oh, somebody's gonna take me like meowie away. Like, bitch, what are you saying? You're a cat. Okay, I get it now. But it's so cute. I loved it. I'm gonna keep reading it. Next we have That Wolf Boy Is Mine. Best way to describe this is like softcore fruit baskets. Basically, girl goes to the school, meets, you know, the kind of super cute idol of the school. Of course, they have a secret. Lo and behold, the secret is that they can turn into animals. Yeah, so it was a cute little shoujo thing. I think there's 4 issues out right now, so I'm probably gonna get the other ones. Next, we had Waiting for Spring. Another type of very similar shoujo scenario. A girl moves to a school, there's 4 idol guys, and she accidentally kind of like attracts the attention of them, even though she was like, I'm gonna like be low key and like not get in the way. But yeah, so it's cute, you know. Again, it wasn't like super amazing, I think, really just because I had read so much like romance, and obviously like the last one that I just talked about was literally the same scenario, except the other one's turned into animals. But I definitely want to keep reading it. Like it was cute. So this is another series where brain cell was just not awake, and that's Hitorojime My Hero, issues 1-3. So I kind of read like a quick synopsis on the back, and it's like, oh, okay, this one guy is like a reluctant punk, reluctantly in a gang, and then this guy was like an older punk who beats up punks gangs or whatever. And so he basically ends up beating up this guy's gang, and that's all in the back. Like, I'm not spoiling it, okay? Just want to throw that out there. Somehow I missed that the dark-haired dude, I can't remember the names right now, I'm so sorry. He's a teacher, which, first off, sir, if you're a teacher, why are you like roaming the streets and beating up people in the middle of the night? How are you dating your student? And I was like, okay, so maybe he's a teacher at like a different school, and not that that would necessarily make it okay, but it would make it like slightly better. Nah, he like teaches at his school. I'm gonna keep reading it though. I mean, it was good. Honestly, I picked it up because the covers were just so beautiful and gorgeous and colorful, and like I was all about it. The last thing that I bought that I read was something that unfortunately I didn't really like. Yeah, so that was Anonymous Noise. Essentially, this girl used to sing with this one kid, and then he moves away, and she's like, well, if I just keep singing, like my voice will bring him back. And then she meets another guy, and same thing, he ends up leaving, and she's like, well, maybe if I sing like some more, this other guy will also like find his way back to me. And I was like, okay, but I don't know, the longer you know me, you'll start to realize that I dislike stuff for like the weirdest, most specific reason. Okay, so the manga is literally called Anonymous Noise, right? But it really bothers me because when she like opens up her mouth, what are you saying, girl? Please explain it to me. Like, so you're just gonna open your mouth and just start screaming? Okay, but when I go out and I start screaming, it's an issue. I don't know, like from the time that your first friend leaves, like all up until like high school, like you just go around kind of singing, screaming. Like, I just want to know what she's saying. What are you saying? Something about not knowing like what she's singing, it just bugged me so much. So the whole time I'm just reading it and I was like, okay, but what are you saying? What are you saying? You're just singing, you're just screaming. And I just couldn't get past the fact that I couldn't figure it out. So I didn't like it. I mean, I only read volume 1, so if anybody else has read like more and it gets better, I don't know, I'm like just totally like missing something, like feel free to let me know in the comments, because like it really bothered me. I was like, just baby girl, what is you saying though? Like, please tell me. I want to know. I want to hear. I tried so hard, but I could not get past it. But anyway, so out of all the ones that I bought, that was kind of like the only one that I didn't necessarily enjoy. And again, it wasn't bad. The art style was actually really interesting and I really liked it, but I just, wasn't feeling it. So this last batch of stuff is stuff that I've gotten in February. I just haven't gotten around to reading it, mostly because I ended up buying more stuff in March and I've started reading that, but I'll get back to it. So the first one was Takane and Hana. Honestly, the description said something about a sugar daddy and I was like, I want to read it, and eventually I will. The next one is Jujutsu Kaisen issues 2, they were super out of order or whatever, 2 through 3. I have been waiting and waiting and waiting for like 2 months now for volume 1 to come in. It's been on order at my local bookstore. It'll get here eventually, so I'm literally just waiting. Then I also picked up Chainsaw Man Volume 3. My Chainsaw Man Volume 1 finally came in. Yeah, I haven't read it yet because obviously I can't. Volume 1 is here. Volume 2 is coming eventually. I walked into a Barnes & Nobles and just saw it, so I was like, I might as well get it before that one gets sold out and I'm waiting another 2 months. Finally, Hunter x Hunter volumes 23 through... That's not 23. Volumes 32 and 34 of Hunter x Hunter. Fun story, I actually didn't watch Hunter x Hunter until last year. Yu Yu Hakusho is my favorite anime of all time. And people have been telling me like, well, if you like Yu Yu Hakusho, you have to read Yoshihiro's like other series, or you have to watch his other anime. And I tried watching it a couple years ago and I got through the first episode and I was like, no. So the whole premise is that this kid is gonna go become a hunter because his dad is a deadbeat and he wants to meet him. Like, okay, but why? So anyway, I didn't really like get into it until like last year. And I fell in love with it and it's amazing and it might be my second favorite anime of all time. I guess basically I'm a Yoshihiro stan. It's whatever. Obviously the anime doesn't finish where the manga finishes, So I want to be caught up where everybody else is caught up and suffer like at the same level as everybody else. But I had issues 32 through 36 on order. And is there an issue 36? Hunter x Hunter issue 36 is somewhere around here. But yeah, I haven't been able to start reading it though because these ones came in and then 36 came in and issue 35 has just not made an appearance. And so I'm just waiting, and it's just such a random issue. It's not like that's like the first issue or the last issue. So basically, I don't know what Hunter x Hunter issue 35, volume 35 is going through, but it needs to get its life together. Yeah, so that was my first ever, okay, manga haul, and basically I guess kind of sort of my first ever reading log. Again, next month I will probably definitely split up the two so this isn't like a 45-minute video. Like I said, I'm into manga now, so. Thanks for watching the video. Hope to see you guys again. Senpai out!